So I've had a few people who are a little bit confused about the EDM project and exactly what they need to do. Now I understand doing the two songs at the same time can be a little bit confusing. So this video is going to talk you through a really simplified version of how to do these EDM projects step by step. Now the idea is that I'll explain one step at a time. You'll pause the video, have Soundtrap open separately, go and complete Soundtrap, that particular step on your own studio page, and then come back, resume the video, and go over the next step. Now, since this is going to be a video recording, you're able to re-watch any section that you're confused about. If you have any questions, make sure you send me a message, but I will try to make it as simple as possible. The key thing to remember is that we are writing our own music. There's no right, there's no wrong. Don't get so stressed out if you're worried that something might not be 100% correct. That is completely fine. That's all within the method of composing. All you need to do is just follow our guidelines. So my tutorials will be based around just these guidelines to help you create your song rather than just creating something out of the blue. Alright, so you're on your studio. So you've logged into your account, you've selected Enter Studio or Create New Project if you're on a phone, and then you're going to select Music because we're not doing a podcast, and you'll have your blank studio. So this is what I mean, I'm starting from the absolute beginning, one step at a time. Okay, blank studio. The very first thing you're going to do is rename your song. Okay, this is your EDM song, and then you want to put your name afterwards. My last name. You just put your first and last name. Okay, once you've done that, just click away from it. So once you've renamed it, you're going to need to press save. Okay, that will save your project straight onto your own profile so you can access it at any point. Some people are getting confused because they're not saving their work and therefore there's nothing there. As soon as you've saved, next step, the purple share button, click. Now, where it's asking you to enter a name or email, what you can do here is enter MPA music depth and then press invite. Now, if it's coming up with some sort of error or that you need to verify your account, below that there's going to be an option to share via link. It is not on my screen because I'm on a different account than your account. You'll have a share by link. Just copy that link and send it through on Show My Homework or on Teams, and that way I'll be able to access it. The reason I need to access it is so I can mark your work. Alright, so the main part of this video is going to be writing your drum track. Now, writing your drum track is much simpler than a lot of people think it is. Drum beats sound quite confusing, but they always follow some basic guidelines. So I'll talk you through those. Right, first step, add new track, drums and beats. And then you'll get your drum patterns, purple boxes appearing on your screen. Now, if yours was like mine and I accidentally started it partway through rather than at the beginning, I just drag that purple line back to the beginning. I also need to move this loop back to the beginning. Now this is going to be automatically turned on. If for any reason it's not purple like it is now, this little cycle mode over here, just click that and that'll turn it on. And then you just need to make sure that it's between numbers 1, which is underneath that purple bar, and 2. You can drag it to make sure that it's only that long, because that's the only length that we need to complete for our drum beats. Alright, next step, is you're going to start to create a pattern based on a couple of very simple guidelines. Okay, you've got 3 different drums here: kick, snare, hi-hat. They're the 3 basic drums that are in most songs. So for EDM music, we want to create what's called 4 on the floor with our kick drum. So what that means is, remember, the kick drum's the bass drum, the really low one. It sounds like a heartbeat. It's going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as you can see here, there is number 1. The 2 is actually the second bar, not the second beat. So each set of 4 boxes, this very first one, that's your beat. So just by clicking on these boxes, I can highlight them, and when they're highlighted, they're going to play. So if I just put a highlight the first of each 4 boxes, that's going 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I play that, now that little high-pitched click, that's your metronome. That's what's going to keep you in time. But because we're using these purple boxes, we know we're going to be in time anyway, so we can actually turn that off for now. Okay, so I want you to go onto yours, find the kick drum, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn them on, and it should sound like this. If you've got the loop on, it'll keep repeating over and over. Alright, our next step is to add the snare drum. Now the snare drum creates what we call a backbeat feel. The reason it's called a backbeat is because it sounds like it's not quite in time where it should be. The reason for that is because it's not on beat 1. So we don't hear, it's not the first thing we hear. It is the second though. So the snare drum beats 2 and beats 4. So remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just click on the box at the start of 2 and at the start of 4. Should sound like, so you can hear that stronger hit on beats 2 and 4. So go and do that on yours. Alright, the next step is your hi-hat. Now this is where we can get really creative. So a really good place to start is to just start the hi-hat on 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like the bass drum. Again, these can just be clicked and they change color and they'll automatically play. That's how simple these are. So if we play that, yeah, pretty standard beat. Now this is where your creativity comes into it, because basically anything within these boxes is going to work. So I might change the hi-hat and maybe have it on the beat and then halfway through the beat, so on boxes 1 and 3. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now that's really good for a rock song, but as we're doing EDM, we might want to change it up a little bit. So again, it's completely up to you. It's your creativity. But the really good thing with this is what you can do is keep it playing and change it as you go, and it will automatically make those changes for you, and you can hear the difference, so you can tell whether you like it or whether you don't like it. So you can see I'm keeping the kick drum the same, I'm keeping the snare drum the same, I've changed the hi-hat up, so it's a little bit different. Obviously you can change this as much as you want. We want to keep the 4 on the floor and we want to keep the 2 and 4. There's no reason we can't add more to it. and you just keep experimenting until you found something you want. Now you can stay with just those 3 sounds, or you can go to this add button and you can actually add extra sounds. So it'll automatically add the next one, but what you can do, say hi-hat open, say I don't want hi-hat open, I just click on it and I can change it. Give it a high tom. And if I change this, it'll automatically change that sound. You can add as many as you want. You can see that it's automatically kind of added a fair few for me. You can always delete those later if you want as well. But see, it looks quite confusing, but when you break it down line by line, we got the 4 on the floor, then I've added in a couple of extra ones. We got beats 2 and 4 on the snare, and then I've added a couple of extras, and then the rest I've just experimented with, and I've just gone with something that sounds good. But you can also change the instrument. So say you maybe don't like some of those sounds, just click up to where it says Machines Vanilla, and you can actually change the instrument, and you can listen to it before to give you an idea of what it might sound like. This Foley one, that's sound effects, we don't want that one, but the rest are up. So you can see how much that's changed. But the other thing you can do is keep that playing and change as you're listening. And you can find something you like. When you've got something you're happy with, that's part 1 done. You can close it, and you've got your drum track in there. And then you need that drum track to do the next step, which will be your bass line on another video. So remember, pause throughout, complete the steps the same I did, and then when you get to your hi-hat, start to get a little bit experimental with what you're going to do. Keep it playing, keep playing with different ideas. There's no right or wrong. Just keep the 4 on the floor and the 2 and the 4 in the bass.